Hello Maverick Nation, I'm Aiden Manji.
And I'm Jules Nunn. Welcome back to MavTV.
We have some great stories for you this week.
You might have noticed that this school year started with the exciting news that St. John's now has their own radio station, Imav Radio.
Let's take a deeper look at how the station got started and what they do.
Hi, my name is Curtis Donovan with MavTV, coming at you live to go a little bit more in depth about the new Imav radio station that you've probably been hearing a lot about. You might have read a few flyers, posters, or even emails about this new mysterious station. So today, we're going in depth to find out what's behind the station and talk to a few major contributors about the Imav radio station. So let's get right into it. Find out what makes the gears turn and the clock tick about this station. To start it off, we're going to talk with the man who made it happen in the studio, the St. John's Assistant Fine Art Director, Mr. Leakey. So, during each broadcast, what equipment is used?
We use a lot of different equipment. We have the main mixer that mixes all the microphones and all the music together. We have a computer here that actually mixes all of our music. We load in all the digital songs and everything. We record everything over here. It's a multi-track recorder. Everything's own specific track. Then we can adjust all the settings for each thing individually, then mix it all back down, and then that's the show that you hear. We have another room over here that is the interview room. That one has 4 microphones, and so if we're doing a bigger show where we have more people, then they can be in there and the engineer can be in here recording everything.
So how can each student sign up to be on the show?
So you can either email me or you can go to the website at imavradio.com, and there's a section there, contact us, and you can go in and fill that out and it'll go to me and then I'll get in touch with you.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with us.
Thank you.
Imav Radio consists of various segments and constant music all throughout the day. These segments include interviews done by students and staff in the sound booth next to the station's electronic room. Other segments consist of people talking about new trends or old in the world of music or St. John's. So here we have Philip, an avid listener to the Imap Radio. What's your favorite segment on the show?
I'd have to say my favorite segment is 1946 with Stovey Whitmore, because I love learning about the history of our school.
So how is the music selection on the Imap Radio?
Oh, it's really good and diverse. My favorite song would probably be Goodbye Girl by Hootie and the Blowfish.
So there you have it. The Imap Radio consists of various shows and great music all throughout the day, resulting in a good listen no matter what the time. This has been Curtis Donovan for MavTV, signing off. Back to the studio.
Imav Radio does play some great music.
That's right, and you should check out their website at www.imavradio.com to view their show schedule. You won't want to miss This Week in Music with Lily Peskoff and Max Sherrod.
You'll also want to take a listen to the new show, The Weekly, with Owen Butler and Elijah DeHunsi.
Now let's take a look behind the scenes at the oldest club on campus, Johnnycake.
We've all seen the stunning performances put on at St. John's, from the musicals to the plays. But today, we're going to take a look into how they're put together. Johnnycake, the oldest service organization at St. John's, provides students with the opportunity to get involved in theater without having to be in the final performance. From set building to stage managing, Johnnycake offers many roles, a jack of all trades, if you will. We went to the VST to interview some of the key members of the theater department, starting with Meridian Mothi, a junior and the president of Johnnycake. What is Johnnycake and what do they do?
So Johnnycake was originally founded as a tech theater club, so making like all of the sets for the shows, doing the tech behind, so the sound and the lighting and stuff, but it's really evolved into more of a theater community. So we come every weekend from 9 to 12, which is crew, and we build the sets for the shows, but then officers also get everyone to make posters and programs, and so it's more of the behind the scenes of the theater department than just tech.
How much of a time commitment is Johnnycake?
For me personally, it is a pretty large time commitment, just because it's not like other clubs. It's if you don't do your job, then the show doesn't go up. And the shows are a vital part of the community, of the St. John's community, and of people's lives. And people put a lot of effort into it.
Just as Meridian said, Johnnycake is not like other clubs. Theater is a large part of the St. John's community, and we're so fortunate to have a great program here at school. Of course, the students can't lead everything, and so faculty help out as well. As with all clubs, Johnnycake has two faculty sponsors, Ms. Harden and Mrs. Cords. We were able to talk with Ms. Harden about her experience with Johnnycake and the leaders of the club.
Myself, Ms. Cordes, Mr. McDonald, we direct the performances in terms of we kind of coordinate and help the students know where to go and what to do. But then the students really put together those productions themselves. I mean, they're the ones that shine on stage.
What role do you play in Johnnycake?
Myself, so I and Ms. Cordes are both the co-sponsors of Johnnycake as a club. So together we co-sponsor the club, and then we meet on a regular rotation with the officers to kind of help guide them in terms of decisions they're making or things that are happening within the club.
With the students leading Johnnycake, it's not hard to see why the club is so successful. Next, we talked to Mr. Murphy, a new faculty member of St. John's and the technical director of the theater. One of our first questions was how he organizes crew on Saturdays.
So the way that we organize the crews generally is I'll currently, since I'm new, I'm relying a lot on Johnnycake officers, and they're sort of acting as my crew heads. So we usually meet ahead of time and talk about our goals for the weekend and what we're going to get done on Saturdays. And I sort of give each of them an assignment or a crew to head up. And then on Saturday morning, we split everyone up into groups and we run it that way. And then I of course walk around to everyone, make sure everything's going well and everyone knows what's going on.
What's your favorite part about Johnnycake?
My favorite part is, I think, really, it's getting to work with all the students. And I mean, I get to teach one class, right? But most of the time I'm in here with Mrs. Garman. And, we have a great time working together. But it's really nice to get to actually work with all the students and sort of get together and create something together.
As you can see, a lot of work goes into setting up and running the performances at St. John's. We hope that you'll come out, support, and maybe even take part in Johnnycake. Reporting from MavTV, this has been Sean Patel. Back to the studio.
This fall sports season, there were some great Maverick moments, starting with our varsity football team's undefeated streak on Skip Lee Field. The Mavericks won 5 home games, culminating with a double overtime victory on senior night. The football team eventually ended up in 3rd place in the SPC 4A division.
This past weekend, St. John's competed in the 2019 Fall SPC Championships, which were located in Houston for the first time in over 30 years.
Girls volleyball started off with the first win for the Mavericks, sweeping Fort Worth Country Day on Thursday night. On Friday, they took out Oak Ridge in 5 sets, but fell to the eventual champion, Episcopal High School, in the semis, ending up in 3rd.
Boys volleyball lost their opener to Cassidy, but recovered for a win over Kincaid for 5th place. Great finish, guys.
Temperatures dipped into the 30s on Saturday morning at the cross-country races, held at Spring Creek Park in Tomball. The girls finished a surprising 3rd place, and Coach Fabre could not have been more proud of the team, as several Mavericks clocked in personal records.
They ran phenomenal today. We had 2 girls go under 20 minutes, which hasn't happened in years, and we had one right at 20:06. We just squeezed everything out of them today. They gave me everything that they possibly could, and I couldn't be more happy for them as their coach.
Boys cross country also posted several personal records and finished runner-up behind St. Mark's. Emmanuel Seguras finished 5th and Davis Timms was a second behind in 6th. Here's what they had to say about the race.
We came out, we both ran well. We kind of controlled the pace for our group. We were able to finish strong.
Yeah, it was a hard race, but we trained for it and we finished strong.
Field hockey was the last team standing on the weekend. Earlier, the Mavericks defeated ESD 8-0 in the quarterfinals and followed it up with an 8-0 win over Cassidy to advance to the SPC championship game against Kincaid. In the previous regular season game, St. John's dominated the Falcons 3-1, but in the championship final, it was a defensive battle for the ages. The game was scoreless in regulation and 2 overtime periods, forcing a 1v1 shootout with the Mavericks finally prevailing 3-0. Here's what Coach Chambers had to say about the win.
I don't know, that was a tough game. Who'd have thought it would after the last day? But you got to hand it to Kincaid. Both teams, they slugged it out. That was, to the wire. I got to give these girls a lot of credit. A lot of guts to hang with it through everything, all whatever it is, 60, 70, 85 minutes of game. And, they got it done. Took a lot of grit, a lot of bravery.
The SBC experience has meant more than wins and losses. Some of our competitors reflected on what it means to compete at SBC.
I like how even though everyone is like competing against each other, there's still like a bond between schools. Like all the Kincaid players were really nice to us after, and like meeting new people from the north is really cool too, because it's not like anyone's really mean on the field, and like I don't know, it creates like a bond across cities in Texas too.
I think SBC is just a chance to show off everything we've worked for this whole season. I think we have such a special group of girls this year, and so I think we've been working so hard that it's our time to go out and show all the great things that we've been doing this season.
It's like our whole high school careers were like for this race, like every morning practice, every like really cold like grind is all for this, and it's really worth it. So
on a beautiful day.
Yeah, it was a perfect day.
SBC is really fun. I mean, like to see all these teams competing at their highest level, just to be here with them and competing against them and watching them, I think it's really fun and really cool.
I think it's a great culmination of like everything that we've worked for this season. It's a great way to show everyone else what we're all about.
Finally, as the fall season comes to a close and some of the equipment and uniforms fade away with time, the same traditions of competing not without honor and singing of the alma mater never go out of style.
We all know the football field is called Skip Lee Field, but just who was Skip Lee? Well, here's your answer.
Hello, this is Connor McManus reporting from MavTV. I'm standing here at Skip Lee Field where the Maverick varsity football team plays their home games. This field was originally named Brown Field until October 30th, 1996, when it was renamed in honor of legendary head coach Skip Lee.
We caught up with some important people to learn more about Skip Lee.
By the time I played for Skip Lee, he was towards the end of his career as a football coach, but he was also the dean of students. And so a lot of our conversations with him were not even really football-related conversations. They were about doing things the right way. Right. And so philosophically, his football philosophy was fairly simple. I think some of the other coaches by that point were the ones doing a lot of the strategy. But we all, as players who played for him, looked. He was the dean of students, right. And so when he spoke through multiple lenses, but generally he was talking about us being doing the right thing. So there was a sports component to that, but also he cared a lot more about who we were as young men, probably more so than he did could we win football games. I think if they were all in here and we were talking to people who played for Coach Lee, they'd remember much less the wins and losses, although he had some pretty darn good teams and coached some pretty good athletes. I think they would all speak to who he was as a person more than how many championships he won.
When I got here, he was the dean of students, and he was also the head football coach. Friend, mentor, person that I admired and respected beyond anything that I could really possibly convey. He was a person that maintained integrity and a kind of focus that he was the foundation. He and Doug Osborne and Mr. Sauls, Mr. Murphy, there were a number of people that their love, their energy, their just the kind of people that they were set a kind of foundation that we benefit from to this very day. He lent a kind of stability to the way that we conduct our affairs that only a very strong person could have done.
We hope you enjoyed some of these stories from faculty members who experienced life at St. John's under Skip Lee firsthand. This is Connor McManus from MavTV. Back to the studio.
Well, Mavericks, it looks like we are having another busy fall, and you can catch it all right here.
Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube so you'll get updates when our new videos are released.
We're always looking for great news stories. If you have any ideas for stories you would like to see on MavTV, You can email us at news@sjs.org.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon for another edition of MavTV.
Go Mavericks!